Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. Sorry for doing these adjustments. Okay, so let's have a show of hands as you've heard me say that I believe that humans can be immortal if we keep up perfect nutrition. Right? So my theory is way over here. Immortality due to perfect nutrition. What does perfect nutrition mean to me? Because I'm the one with the theory. That means all of your trace minerals, all of your minerals, all of your nutrients, every single quantifiable. Okay, there's stuff flying around, but I don't see anything. There's stuff flying around on the camera. I don't see anything. So if that's a ghost, it's a ghost. I don't see anything actually flying around me. It's weird, but I see it on the camera. What is that? I don't know. Everything, nutrients, vitamins, everything at the peak. One of the doctors who spoke on the topic that I'm about to speak to said there is the minimum to not show signs of deterioration from a complete lack of the mineral and nutrients, and that is what the RDA did. So what the RDA, the recommended daily allowance of vitamins and nutrients, took prisoners and then they divided them up into groups and they fed them certain amounts of nutrients, and the minimum to keep them alive is what you see on your bottles, all of your anything nutrition on it. That is the minimum. That means their teeth can rot out, their eyesight can go bad, they can literally not have the ability to walk, and eventually their lungs will collapse, stuff like that. So it's the minimum to keep them alive. That is not peak nutrition. So when doctors or even nutritionists say, be careful taking vitamins, be careful what you eat, be careful not to eat too much of this, that, and the other, like kelp and stuff like that. That is, they are taught to believe that the RDA is something to achieve, to ascend to. Well, Linus Pauling and all the rest of those people who won Nobel Prizes discovering the various vitamins said that the peak is what you're trying to achieve for optimal nutrition and optimal health, right? Optimal health. So I'm saying with optimal nutrition, peak nutrition, the human being can live forever, outside of being hit by a Mack truck, right? I'm still in mourning, so if I shouldn't make myself laugh, I tend to cry if I laugh. So what am I talking about today? Today I'm talking about immunotherapy, and it takes 3 forms. Form number 1, they have developed pharmaceutical things, pharmaceutical drugs that they have patented. They have researched and patented, and there's various kinds of it, and they have given it to patients with cancer, and they have had, and that's the only time I'm going to mention that word, okay? So make sure you keep that in mind if I don't mention it. And they have given it to patients, and they've had varying degrees of success. I'm going to talk about each of these in detail later, after this. Number 2 is they take a complete blood sample, and we're talking about the amount that would that probably would put you in a little bit of danger. They then take the cells out of the blood that helps fight invaders, and then they I'll discuss this in detail later. They activate the immune cells in the blood, and then they pump it back into you. And then there's number 3. I've seen all of these advertised, all of these talked about, all of these discussed in detail. I'm giving a layman's terms, right? Because you don't need to know DL1. I mean, does that say anything to you? Probably not. But how I'm gonna talk, you will understand. Number 3 is you take all of your immune boosting vitamins, minerals, and trace minerals. You test for all of those, see where you're deficient, and then you create a diet with supplementation to boost your immune system, and boom, you're fine, right? Okay, so let's go back to first start with the pharmaceutical drugs. So with the pharmaceutical drugs, you can take the different. They have tested the various kinds. They had the control group that took nothing. They had the second group that took one of the pharmaceutical drugs. They had the third group that took the other pharmaceutical drugs, and then they had the fourth group that took both of them. And they found that both of the pharmaceutical drugs stopped the growth of the cells or even reduced tumors, right? So there was no vanishing of the tumors, but there was a stoppage. At best, there was reduction of the tumor a little bit. And we're talking about a little bit. I think something like 10%. And here's the problem. You only take it a little bit for a little bit of time, and this stoppage occurs for 3 months in one drug and 6 months in the other drug. And then when they had both months, it was for 12 months. Here's the problem. They destroy your liver. So you are left with a very bad situation in this, and because the most destruction, of course, happened when you took both of the pharmaceutical drugs in immunotherapy, right? But I think it's a good thing that they can patent. If they can patent this, they can make money. They're gonna make it, right? And I immediately, when I first saw this, I said, they have to have something that they can patent. They have to have something that they can actually put a label on and sell. They're not going to do the first thing that I saw, which was the part 3, which was the just eating healthy and taking vitamins, right? And of course, everybody says, oh, eating healthy and taking vitamins, that does nothing. You got to have a pill, right? You got to have a pill. That's what you're taught, that you have to have a pill. You're not understanding that there's a complete regimen. Now, I've been taking a regimen of vitamins for my high blood pressure. I looked it up, and I looked at research, and there is a concoction of a certain amount of pills. Literally, when I take the pills, my blood pressure goes down, and I feel kind of like that, right? This is to get over the YouTube algorithm, because it can't tell what I'm doing. It can maybe recognize who I am, but it can't tell what I'm doing. So after I take the concoction, I'm all like, oh, right? Which is great. The first time that I did it, I felt all my joints loosen up. Blood pressure makes me feel like this all the time, like everything. There's pressure throughout my entire body. So when I took The first time I took CoQ10, which was cheap at the time. CoQ10 was cheap. Uh, the next step up from CoQ10 is for people over the age of 30, I believe, and that was $100 and something for a. It was a big bottle, but it was still $100 and something. And I asked the lady, I said, "Why is this so expensive?" From what I understand, I think it's made from like oyster shells, which they literally throw away. And she says it's that expensive because they know that you're going to pay for it. I mean, she was brutally honest, right? But lo and behold, I go looking for pricing on CoQ10 now at Walgreens, and it was $60 for a tiny bottle. And I mean tiny. I mean like something that would be the size of this. You know, it was, I think, 30 days or maybe even a week. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm taking everything but that. So all of the other vitamin protocol that I'm doing, and I'm taking them 3 times. I said, okay, this says 3 times a day with a meal. So I have some vitamins I take only once a day, and then some that I take 3 times a day with a meal. So I said, I'm going to really stick to this. So take them 3 times a day, and I feel fantastic. Well, I don't feel fantastic. I feel really lightheaded. That's the deal, because the opposite of pressure is a complete de-stressing and release, right? Okay, now, so I said it's a good thing that they can patent it and sell it. Immunotherapy. Because then they will be have an incentive to actually do this. Here's the deal, though. As far as immunotherapy in general is concerned, it only cures, and they say we can't say cure, because the AMA and the FDA says you can't say cure, even if it does cure it, even if the people have been alive for 12 years after doing this, you can't say cure. So the next one is where they draw the blood and they then activate. And let me explain what happens. All of our cells have the potential to develop into C cells, right? See, this is crazy. This whole censorship is crazy, and it doesn't make any sense because I have advertisement on my channel, and the advertiser says it over and over and over and over, but I can't say it. I don't understand. So everybody has potential. Everybody. It's a part of human growth and the death of the cells, and you know, life is chaotic. So life is chaotic. Growth is chaotic. Okay, so you have cancer cells in you. Your immune system knows this, and your immune system constantly just cleans it up. And for most of your life, it just cleans it up. And you don't realize it. Nothing happens. You don't get moles. This is just my freckles. You don't get moles if you have a mole that is a 3D mole. It actually sticks out from your skin. That's you go check that with the doctor. I'll say that right now. None of this is medical advice other than to say go talk to your doctor. Okay, so everybody has these cells, and for the most part, your immune system takes care of them, wipes them out. Okay, here's the problem. Your immune system sweeps these cells away, but there are some cells that do a whole bunch of nasty stuff that the immune system does not take care of. What happens? First of all, it hides itself. and then it develops. So the immune system has taken all the weak cells away, sweeps them out, bye-bye. But what's left grows, and it hides itself from your immune system. And here's another thing it does. It shuts off the immune cells that would, under any other circumstance, sweep it out, destroy it and sweep it out. So then what you're dealing with are these advanced cells, right? What they do when they draw the blood is they reawaken those cells that specifically target the cells in your body and sweeps them out, right? So what they do is they awaken them and, in the laboratory, multiply them by the thousands, right? And so where everything was shut off in the body, in your body, they didn't produce those cells as much because the cell says, oh, well, there's nothing in here, so let me just shut this off, and we don't need that many of these cells because the body is efficient. It only produces what it should produce. It doesn't overproduce. So they then pump that back into your body, and poof, it's activated, and it cannot be deactivated because there's thousands and thousands of these cells, and so these your C cells then can't deactivate them, and so they are destroyed and swept out of the body. And that is permanent. Yes, I believe it's expensive, but it's a one-time thing and it's permanent. Anything else that comes in, it activates and sweeps it out. Destroys it and sweeps it out, right? So that was the doctor who, I think he is a protege of one of the Nobel Prize winning medical doctors also, right? So he's the student of one of those guys. Okay, and then there's number 3, complete nutrition. This is the first thing that I saw, complete nutrition. They said this is immunotherapy. Doctors are now giving immunotherapy a chance. This is, you take entire vitamin concoction, just like people take all of these pills that they get from the pharmacist and big pharma. And so you take this and it completely readjusts and maximizes and gives you peak levels of all of your vitamins, minerals, and trace minerals, all the nutrients. And this then activates your immune system and produces more of the immune cells that deactivates the C cells. This, of course, is the weakest one in medicine because you can't patent vitamins, right? Or yeah, you can't patent vitamins. Correct me if I'm correct, right? That's the first one I saw. No impact, no negative impact on the body. The number 2, where they take the blood out and reactivate your cells, mass produce your cells and put them back in, that's a one-time thing. No impact on the body because it's all natural. They are not doing anything laboratory. They're not producing anything synthetic. They are literally just growing what you already have. One time, and that has varying degrees of success. And that depends on the person. I believe that depends on, number 1, where they have the pharmaceutical drug. That depends on the person. That one has relatively some success. It literally depends on the person. For some people, it doesn't work at all. And then for other people, it works. And since there is there's drawbacks on the pharmaceutical drug. One, they then don't say it's a cure. They don't say it's anything, but they've allowed it to go through. they've done some successful testing. Some. It's not for everybody. Now, here's the problem that I have, is that they are not taking into account the person. Everybody is different. In medicine, everybody is different. That's why it's a practice, because every patient is completely different. Every human is completely different. You might have genetic factors in your body that the person who lives across the stream does not have at all, right? And that's how your ancestors grew up, and you have this, they don't, or vice versa. I believe the one where they draw the blood out and put it back in, I believe that goes much closer to individualizing the treatment, because he said that's what he does. He individualizes the treatment. Now, all of this is only successful in like three cancers. So the myriad of cancers of other stuff, it has almost no effect, as far as I know, including number 1 and number 2. I believe number 3, with giving peak nutrition, it completely does it for everything, because that's what the body needs. And there you have it. There's my dissertation on immunotherapy in layman's terms. Everybody should be able to understand it, and nobody should get upset. Thank you all for watching. Tell me about, what do you think about my theory that the human can be immortal if they take peak nutrition of all of the vitamins, nutrients, and trace minerals. Vitamins, minerals, and trace minerals, all at peak levels, all of them at peak levels. Because after a while, after the age of 30, you start not processing certain vitamins as you did before 30. So even at 30, you're already preparing, right? So when people who are older started taking higher and higher and higher dosages of certain vitamins, minerals, and trace minerals, then they saw a complete difference in their health. This is not medical advice. The only advice is to go show this to your doctor and say, this is what this guy said. Can we run a battery of tests to test all of my vitamins, minerals, and trace mineral levels? All right, thank you all for watching. Leave a like. You know, this is free information.